Good morning. Hello, hello. Okay, so these sessions, these lives that I'm doing, the title of them is called Nourish Your Body. And when I'm thinking of things that can nourish us, I'm really thinking of different practices, tools, ways of being, foods, anything that really helps to fill us, that helps to nourish us, that helps to make us feel more full, more ourselves. And one of the number one tools for me that helps me to nourish my body is breath. And it is one of the most simple practices and tools is breathing. But when we can put intention to it and learn a few ways to really consciously and intentionally breathe, it is so helpful for what I call changing our state. So I'm going to talk a little bit more into that, but I just want to start with anyone here listening. And then if you're listening to the recording of this too, just dropping in a word right now or thinking of a word that kind of describes your current state. How are you feeling right now? What are you coming in with right now? I'm thinking of my current state. I feel a little tense, like my muscles are just like a little like gripped from my day yesterday. So the word would just be like a little like tense is kind of my state. Think if you're, let's see. Yeah, Steph saying tired. Yeah, for sure. For sure. And it's early. I don't know where you are exactly, Steph, but it's early right now. So tired. So yeah, if you're listening to this too, as you practice this breathwork session that we're going to do, just think of where are you right now? What is a word or two that might describe your current state? So when we're talking about our state, our nervous system is something we think about a lot. So our nervous system is really the thing that moves us in and out of different states. So we've all probably heard of the fight or flight state or the sympathetic state where we are activated. We are maybe more stressed. Our heart rate is increasing. Blood is moving to different muscles so that we can like move and run. And a lot of times we may find ourselves in this state literally just from receiving an email that we weren't expecting, or, from driving in traffic and like someone cutting us off. It can get us into this more heightened, sympathetic kind of fight or flight state. And a lot of us may find ourselves there pretty frequently. The other side of the nervous system, and actually I might be able to share a picture to help illustrate this a little better. I'm visual, so I like seeing things. Yeah, here we go. I'll share this. So here you can see our state here in the sympathetic nervous system on the left, and then on the right hand side we have the parasympathetic nervous system, and that is more our rest and digest part of our nervous system. So there's two branches of that, and in one of these sessions I'm going to go a little deeper into what's called polyvagal theory, but today we're just going to kind of talk through there's the ventral vagus and the dorsal vagus, and both of these different states of being within our parasympathetic nervous system can affect us. And you see the word vagus there. And if anyone's ever heard the term vagus nerve, it's this nerve that's part of our nervous system here that's from our brain all the way down into our gut. And it really creates this gut-brain connection, and it communicates a lot of things from our gut and our diaphragm to our brain and vice versa, back and forth. So when we are in the dorsal part of this parasympathetic state, that's what some people will call like a freeze response. So it might be the feeling of like we kind of like shut down kind of like deactivate, or uh, we like disengage. And on the other side, the ventral vagus response or state is the state where we feel, I guess, kind of most in our power, where we're feeling more calm. We might be in a more rest and digest state. We feel capable. We feel kind of like at our center, a little more balanced. So you can think of yourself too, even, do you notice that you tend more towards sympathetic, being in kind of this like activated state? Um, do you find yourself frequently in ventral, kind of like in your center? Or do you trend towards this dorsal, which we call like dorsal shutdown a little bit? And sometimes that dorsal is when we've been like so in our sympathetic for a while that we kind of move into a dorsal, or that can be just something that we tend to a little bit. So we all move in and out of these states at all times. So the goal isn't to just be in one, like to only be in the ventral. We need our sympathetic, we need to be activated at certain times, but what we want is to be able to just get some curiosity and awareness of when we're in different nervous system states, and then have some tools to help us move and shift if that's feeling difficult, like if we're feeling like we are stuck in a sympathetic state all the time. So I don't know if anyone listening has ever felt that, kind of like activated, like you're sort of stuck in that sympathetic state, or maybe even on the other side, just that feeling of like shut down, kind of like I'm done, kind of what we call dorsal collapse. But you can let us know in the comments if you have any questions around that, or any, awareness around that. But I just wanted to share that just so we have a little bit of a framework for when we're bringing in breath and using breath. What is it doing for us? How is it helping us really physiologically? Yeah, so Steph's saying, sometimes I find it difficult to relax. For sure. Me too. Me too. And I think that's pretty common for a lot of us. The world we live in can be very demanding and stimulating, and depending on many different things in our histories and our lives, many of us can find ourselves in a pretty activated state a lot of the time, and it can feel hard to kind of like shift that state, or I guess come down. And one of the things I really love breathwork for is helping to shift our state. So I love meditation so much, and it's a really important practice for me. But sometimes I find if I'm in like a sympathetic nervous system state and I try and meditate, it's really hard. And I feel just like confronted with my nervous system, my stress, and I'm just like gritting my teeth, gripping my way through it. If I can bring a little bit of breath, and specifically the breaths that we're going to do together today, if I can bring that in to help shift my internal state, then it really opens up the door for me to be able to be in meditation, or, quiet my mind, or do any other sort of like mindful introspective practices. So there's actually a study, I'll see if I can find it, but there's a study recently that showed that people that use breath work before meditation are able to actually drop deeper into that meditative state, and it's more accessible. So I love breath work for that. I love using our breath mindfully just to help us get some relaxation and shift our state during the day, to nourish our bodies. And it's the best way to communicate to the body. So when we're talking about this vagus nerve, this amazing nerve that goes like from our gut all the way up to our brain, when we breathe and we inflate our diaphragm, we are like tapping on that nerve, that vagus nerve, and sending signals back up to the brain. So when we find ourselves stressed, we're more likely to breathe shallow into the chest, and when we bring some of that breath downward into the diaphragm, we're sending direct signals through our nerves to our brain and the rest of our body that, hey, we're okay. We're breathing deeply right now. It's okay for us to move into a different part of our nervous system, a different state. So let me know if that makes sense, thinking about it in that way. It may be something you already know, and it may be something that's new to you. But to me, it helps to understand what's actually happening when we are breathing, so that when we're doing these practices, we can really feel into that and understand what's going on. So let me stop sharing this. And we're just going to do some breathing together. So I'm going to introduce two different types of breath. The first one is a variation of breath of fire, and it's called a skull shining breath or Kapalabhati breath. And the second one is going to be a square breath or a box breathing breath, which you may be familiar with. So the first breath is a little bit different. And if you've never done it before, you can just kind of listen and pay attention and then give it a try. And it's one of my very, very favorite ones for changing my state. And it really directly helps us get more into that ventral vagal place that we talked about. It involves a little bit of like tensing or pumping of the abdomen. So if you are pregnant, you will not want to do this one. You can just join us in deep diaphragmatic breaths, and then you can join us in the box breathing as well. So ready to breathe? We're just going to start by just looking around the room that you're in right now and just noticing the different things in the room, different textures, different colors. Even stretching your eyeballs a little bit to the side and widening your scope of vision more than you maybe have. And you can move around to the other side. You're just noticing my green plants here, noticing the picture frames, just orienting yourself to the space that you're in. Sending signals of security and knowing to your body right now. And again, stretching your eyeballs a little bit as you move, just kind of widening that field of vision. And then coming back to center and seeing if you can just get comfortable, like just 10% more comfortable than you already are right now. And we're just going to start doing a couple just diaphragmatic breaths or deep breaths. So you can put your hands on your rib cage. And just start to breathe into your hands, inflating your ribs and your diaphragm. So feeling it is kind of like a 360 breath, like a balloon that's fully inflating from all sides. And then exhaling, kind of squeezing that gently back in. Inhaling, breathing into your ribs. And exhaling, feeling it contract. We're just going to do two more. So just breathing into your diaphragm, really feeling where your hands expand, and exhaling, feeling it come back. And just one more. Breathing in and feeling it contract. So if you feel like staying there, you can just stay there. And just those deep diaphragmatic breaths are so nourishing and so helpful for the body. Just continue with that right now. And then I'm going to show you the breath of fire breath. So in this breath, you're just exhaling through your nose as if you were blowing out a tissue, but on both sides. So you're just blowing out your nose. Don't worry about the inhale. That will magically happen. You're just focusing on the exhale right now. You can put your hand on your belly, and I'll show you when you breathe out. you're pumping gently your belly here. So we're getting our digestive fire going, and we are activating our nervous system in a good way right now. So let's just try 10 together really quick to see if you've got it. So okay. Do we got it? You can let me know in the chat if you're listening now. I know it's a little bit of a funny one, but trust me. Okay, cool. We're going to do a bit more stuff with this. And I think you're going to find that it's really, really beneficial. So we're going to do a round of 50. Oh, yay, Nicole, Noelle, sorry. My sister's name's Nicole. So it's like always in my mind. Yay, Noelle. So we're going to do a round of 50. And I'm going to guide the pace, but you can go slower if you want at your own pace. And as you go, just try to gently kind of relax your shoulders as we're going. Notice if you're tensing. Okay, so we're going to count to 50. We're all doing it together. Halfway there. Okay, and here, that last exhale, breathe in through your nose, filling up your body with as much oxygen as you can, and then hold it at the top. And just hold it here for as long as you can. You may feel yourself a little floaty, a little tingly. That's totally normal. And just holding, feeling the oxygen swirl in your body. Anytime your body tells you you need to exhale, you exhale and release it. Amazing work. Okay, we're going to do one more round. We're just going to jump in. Don't even think about it. We're just doing it, okay? We're changing our state right now. So you can breathe in and just another round of 50 with that exhale. And don't even think about it. Sometimes just doing it, right? Letting yourself be breathed in this practice. If this is feeling good for you, only if it's feeling good for you. And keep going here. And see if you can relax any other muscles in your body that don't need to be on duty while you're doing this. About 10 more maybe, or your own count. I may be off from you. Okay, and on your last one, take a deep inhale, breathing all the way up from your toes and your whole body. And holding that breath at the top. Feeling the oxygen swirl in your body. And it's okay if you feel a little floaty, you can just float here. And holding as long as you can, but anytime your body signals to you that you need to release, you let it go. Okay, we're going to move straight into our next round of box breathing. So with this, you're going to breathe in through your nose for a count of 5. You're going to hold your breath at the top for a count of 5. You're going to exhale through your nose or mouth for a count of 5. And you're going to hold empty at the bottom for a count of 5. So we're going to jump straight into it so we can smooth out this work that we've just done with our breath. So breathing in through your nose for 5, holding gently at the top for 5, exhaling through your mouth or nose for 5, holding empty at the bottom for 5. Inhaling through your nose for 5, holding at the top for 5, exhaling for 5, holding empty at the bottom for 5. Keep going here in your own pace, in your own rhythm, and see if you can smooth out your breath, using your breath right now as a way to communicate to the rest of your body and bathe your cells and body with this nourishment that we have flowing through us. You're doing so good. This breath is going to serve you so well. And just keep moving with that cadence, staying with each inhale, with each hold, and with each exhale. And finding yourself just melting down even further with each exhale. And just softening into this practice. We're just smoothing out any rough edges here. And just letting yourself be breathed. With nothing to do, nowhere to go. Just now in this moment for a few more moments, just breathing. Okay, we'll take one last round. So wherever you are, just cycle through one more. And when you get to that last exhale, just take a moment to notice your internal state right now. You can close your eyes if they weren't already closed, and just pay attention to the sensations and feeling in your body right now. And it may be subtle, but we're paying attention to the subtlety. Just notice if you feel any differently than when you started breathing. If there's any subtle shift or difference in your body, I feel a little like heavier, like a little grounded. I was doing some of this too. And I feel a little like tingly in a nice way. Like there's oxygen that's been delivered to my body. So just feel here for a minute. What does it feel like? And then you can take any little movements you need to take. Yeah, Noelle feels clear. I love it. I often feel that too when I do that breath of fire breath or that Kapalabhati breath, is that it clears a lot of just stuckness that we're holding on to. And stuff, my head feels tingly, which is cool. Yeah, and my body feels more relaxed and heavy. Amazing. Yeah, the tingles are interesting, huh? Or sometimes even feeling a little floaty. So just taking a second after this to just like put your feet on the ground or put your hands on the ground and just ground yourself too. Would this be good to do before bed? Yes. Yeah. It's to me, it's not too like activating. It doesn't necessarily have to only be something you do if you want to feel clear or activated. I do this breath a lot before bed, and I like doing the breath of fire. I find that one to be so helpful in shifting into our ventral more than others, and then using box breathing to kind of like smooth things out and help us get into that ventral place in our nervous system would be really good before bed. And I will share next time another breath I love, which is the alternate nostril, which I'm sure many of you have done before, but you can also work that into this routine too. So amazing. Any questions does anyone have about the breath or breathing? I love that we're doing this, at least for where I'm at, as early in the day. To me, it's just the best start. And I think you'll just notice how you feel as you move away from this, how you interact with things, how things affect you. It allows our nervous system to be almost a little less reactive, and it really does allow us to change our state. So yeah, the alternate nostril breathing is one of my favorites, really balancing, and I'll definitely bring that in next time. So thank you all so much for being here. And for those of you watching too, I hope this is nourishing for you. And feel free to use this and use these techniques anytime, as much as you want throughout the day. And if the only thing that feels accessible to you is just a single deeper diaphragmatic breath, that is amazing. And that is doing so, so, so much for you. And all of that layers on itself. So throughout the day, just one breath, that's helping. Okay, I'll see you all next time. Yay, thanks, Steph. Thanks, Noelle. See you guys next time.